We're now joined live from Florida with Eric Mandel, the founder and director of the Middle East Political Information Network and a senior editor for security at Jerusalem Report. Good afternoon to you. So we've got some big news. 8 days into his presidency already, we have a Middle East envoy on his first trip to the region. Tell us your thoughts on Witkoff and what he hopes to accomplish.
Well, it started in unprecedented fashion before the Trump administration even was there, that they did work, and it was a good situation with the Biden people in the transition to get these hostage talks going. The question really now is that Witkoff, like the president, is a real estate tycoon, an American-style negotiator, and can they turn their transactional capitalist skills into meaningful deals, ceasefires, I wouldn't use the word peace, with the jihadists and the Islamists that they're going to have to deal with, whether we're talking about Sunni jihadists in Gaza, or we're talking about Shiite jihadists in Tehran. And how much do they understand that what motivates the players in the Middle East is so involved with Islam? Do they think that all deals inevitably are the same? Or do they realize that this is going to be a different kind of adversary in a negotiation? Because in this part of the world, the deal that you've written is just the first thing. Very often the negotiations start after that.
Right, and no doubt it is complicated. The fact that Witkoff already, went to Gaza, as we saw in that report as well, talking about kind of private companies overseeing, the rebuilding and helping to escort the refugees to either home to the north or, as Trump suggesting, potentially to be absorbed into Egypt.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had written months ago and recommended to the incoming administration, not the deal that I shouldn't say deal, that what President Trump said was to move Gazans out of Gaza on a possibly permanent basis. I had mentioned that maybe what should be considered is that Gazans are moved into Egypt and maybe even to places in Israel and secure locations in the Negev temporarily, so Israel can basically totally find the still tens, if not hundreds of miles of terrorist networks, underground tunnel networks that are still there. And so when the rebuilding occurs, it will be much longer before the terrorist infrastructure can be rebuilt. The way it is at this point, even though you see scenes of devastation, it looks like a demolition state, as President Trump says, there is still so much underground tunnels that are still there. And now with nearly 400,000 people returning within the last 3 or 4 days, none of whom have been inspected, there's going to be an eventual resurgence. So as Envoy Witkoff comes back, it's one thing to pressure Israel for now the next phase of the deal. It's also to understand that the Qataris want to ingratiate themselves with Witkoff and the president, and they will pressure Hamas. But it is another that will the Trump administration support Israel, as it will inevitably have to do, go back into Gaza, because that terrorist infrastructure, although profoundly weakens, not in a brigade structure, is going to resurrect themselves. And that's going to really test ceasefires over the weeks and months to come.
All right. Thank you very much for your insight. Eric Mandel, founder and director of the Middle East Political Information Network.
Thank you, Em.